Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad that you've joined us today. This webinar is called Creative Commons Certificate, Getting the Expertise You Need in Open Licensing. And we are joined today by our colleagues from Illinois Central College and from Creative Commons. And I'll introduce them in a moment. I did want to, my computer has decided to be very strange here, so I'm going to have to assume that you guys can see me. Okay, great. And that all is well. I'm Jenny Parks. I'm the Vice President of Policy and Research at MEC, Midwestern Higher Education Compact. Next slide, please. Today, we are going to be talking to you about the contract that MEC has with Creative Commons. If you are interested in taking a look at that contract and possibly using it, please get in your browser and go to mec.org/Creative Commons. What you'll find there is the contract number, which you can use if you want to sign up for some Creative Commons training. It will provide you with a 15% discount on existing and any custom type of training that you and folks at your institution might be interested in. You can definitely self-register, but you can also reach out for support. We have a lot of information that is on this slide deck, which will also be shared with you after the webinar, which will be recorded. We invite you at the end to please complete the assessment of the webinar so that we know how to make all of those in the future even better. I will also ask that if you have a question, please submit it through our question and answer portals, not through our chat, and we'll be monitoring those while we are hearing from our presenters. The folks who might be really interested in this webinar today or in the future, if you want to share it with them, would of course be faculty, other instructors and graduate students, librarians, library staff, instructional designers and technologists, directors and staff for centers of teaching and learning, and of course all academic leadership at your institution, because Creative Commons, of course, is the bedrock. The open licensing is the bedrock of all open educational resources, a huge and important transition that we're making in all aspects of education right now, both in this country and across the world. So I'm glad that you're here and you're trying to develop some of the expertise you and your campus needs to do this well. So again, if you have any more questions about the contract, our work with OER, Creative Commons, anything, please use my contact information here and feel free to reach out at any time. And I will go ahead and present our presenters. We have Jenren Wetzler, the Director of Learning and Training from Creative Commons. Those of you who've seen these webinars before will recognize Jenren, and welcome back, Jenren. And today we have our guest presenter, Jessica Bastian, the Digital Services Librarian from Illinois Central College. We always like to bring in someone who's gone through the training and is able to show us exactly how impactful it can be in a local setting. So I am going to turn it over now to Jenren. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you so much for having us. And it is great to be back. We always love our partnership with MEC and the opportunities that it creates for not just the Midwestern states, but also all of the other states affiliated with regional compacts. So we're really thrilled to be here. What I'm going to do is give you a quick overview about Creative Commons and what we offer with the CC certificate program, and then turn it right over to Jessica, because I'm sure you are all much more interested in the real world experience of going through the cert than any of my stats and figures. So I'll try to get through our Creative Commons side of the presentation pretty quickly. So you're probably familiar, but in case not, Creative Commons is a global nonprofit organization. We believe that in order for us to collectively address our largest global challenges, our shared challenges, the knowledge and culture about those challenges needs to be open. So we work towards building capacity and infrastructure, developing practical solutions, and advocating for sharing knowledge and culture that is open, that is contextual, inclusive, just, equitable, and reciprocal. So we built the open licenses that power millions of people's unfettered access to culture, research, information, education, and more. We know of over 2.5 billion CC licensed works online to date, but we know that is also a pretty conservative estimate. So ideally, what we can do today is give you a quick glimpse into one of the capacity building efforts that we provide in our training program, and that's the CC certificate. So the CC certificate program is actually a set of 3 courses that you can take either online or in person. The online courses are 10 weeks long. The in-person boot camps or kind of intensive trainings are 1 week long. We also offer online boot camps. But anyway, these courses are geared towards educators, academic librarians, and open culture experts. So people who are in the cultural heritage sector, whether they're coming from galleries, libraries, archives, museums, or just advocates of open culture in general. All of our courses have 5 units. So the 5 units are generally broken up between the 10 weeks online. They include a final project that we encourage participants to collaborate on. We encourage participants to also get started on earlier in the course. They also comprise quizzes, assignments, and a number of different optional webinars with experts in a variety of topics. So we always have experts in open licensing present, specifically copyright lawyers. We have a lot of times experts in anti-colonial knowledge and cultural heritage present, sometimes experts in accessibility and OER and more. So we try to give you as much additional support as we can, although the only things that are graded in our certificate courses are your assignments and your discussions. So everything else is kind of additional fodder for your creative work. We have to date over 1,370 graduates from 65 countries and growing. And backing up a step, the certificate was actually created several years ago. We're entering our 5th year of full-fledged official work in the certificate here. But it was originally created to respond to a growing need that Creative Commons saw, not just in US institutions, but also around the world for open licensing expertise. So in the US in particular, a lot of community colleges were responding to the Department of Labor TACT grant, which funded community colleges open licensed work that they were then on the hook to open license. So without the expertise in different institutions, Creative Commons was getting pulled into a whole lot of meetings and wanted to skill up a lot of experts across the US, across the world, so that more people could open license, more people could meet the requirements of their grants, more people could become the experts and the people their colleagues turn to for advice, or I wouldn't say legal advice, because technically we can't offer legal advice, but turn to for institutional advice on how to work with open educational resources, how to create resources, and so on. So the goal of the certificate program is to share open licensing expertise with as many people as possible. So we are trying to make it as useful as possible to not just all of you, but audiences around the world. We have all of our reading content available as CC BY licensed material on our website. We want and encourage people to remix and reuse the different materials that we offer. So we've so far seen really wonderful cases of reuse, both with different languages, so translations into different languages, to participants remixing the work for LibGuides, for different trainings, for workshops, even courses, professional courses that they create. So we really welcome any form of remix of this material. We will say, technically, if you're creating a separate course using our material, you can't call it a CC certificate, but please make use of our openly licensed content. I just wanted to share a few of the results or the testimonials from some participants taking this course. I know this is a big wall of text, but a few things to pull out. Some participants are noting that it's probably the most valuable and rewarding professional development training that they've done. Others are saying that it's one of the greatest benefits of the course was the opportunity to connect with others from all over the globe who share a passion for opening up the education process for all learners. And still another saying, this is the most useful and impactful professional development I've participated in. So a lot of great reviews. I haven't even updated our list of testimonials with the latest, the 2022 testimonials, but wanted to give you a quick snapshot. So really quickly, I wanted to also touch on our impact. So in addition to some of the translations and the different use cases of our materials, we also take participant feedback very seriously. So we have a number of different surveys that we administer, from participant feedback surveys to a baseline and endline survey to track the change in knowledge over time in the course. And what we've found is 97.1% of participants report learning a moderate to tremendous amount in the course, mostly a tremendous amount. We've also noticed that there's statistically significant evidence that the post-test scores for participants are very about 21.2% higher than the pre-test scores that participants take. So they learn a lot of knowledge in the course. They test much higher after taking the course. And these are, volunteer tests. You don't have to take any tests. But it's very useful to us to start to look more deeply into the data that participants give us. As I mentioned, there are experts now in over 65 countries around the world. We are also really trying to track a little bit more about the professional development and how it catalyzes additional learning. So we are encouraging additional use cases of it. We are encouraging additional translations. So this year, in addition to the, I think, 7 or 8 languages that the course is translated into right now, we are also exploring a couple more. So hopefully we'll have a translation in Slovak and Bengali. We may have a revision of our Italian translation, which would kind of expand some of the work a little bit more. So we've got a lot of really wonderful ripple effects from the open licensed content that we made available to start. And we hope that you will take our content, work with it, learn from it, and continue the ripple effect. In addition to the translations, we have, I know we have at least one grad who's created a master level course related to open education. We have open policies and institutions emerging. We have an openly published digital collection of artwork that has become kind of a case study for museums digitizing collections and more. So a lot of great stuff coming out of our participants who take the course. If you are interested in getting involved or even just learning more about what the course looks like, you can see an example syllabus. You can see some of the different assignments that participants have put forth and more on our website. So just go to certificates.creativecommons.org. You'll find out our schedule. We offer our classes 3 times a year in January, June, and September. You'll also be able to sign up right from the website. Okay, that is all I have. I really appreciate everybody's attention, and I'm going to stop sharing right now. Okay, now I'm happy to yield the floor to Jessica.
Awesome. Thank you. I just love hearing about Creative Commons, and it never gets old. And I'm, really just excited to be here and happy to share my experience. And so like I was introduced, my name's Jessica Bastian. I've actually had a title change. So on the opening slide, it said Digital Services Librarian, which I was at ICC for 8 years, but I'm now, in August, I moved into my new role, which is Faculty Development Coordinator in the Center for Teaching and Learning Excellence. And the Creative Commons course and my role change are related. So it's kind of a similar story, or it's one of the outcomes that happened after I took the Creative Commons Commons certificate course. And I'll talk a little bit about that. But in my role, what I do here at ICC is I support faculty and provide professional development opportunities. So I am sort of the train the trainer. It is my job to go out and learn about high impact teaching practices and OER and OEP, open educational practice and pedagogy, Creative Commons and copyright. And then I help faculty take all these innovative ideas and put them into practice, right? Apply their knowledge and our knowledge into their courses, really with every student in mind, right? The goal is that we're providing free, accessible, equitable, quality content and educational experiences for students. And my work or my the knowledge that I gained through the Creative Commons certificate course has really empowered me to do this work, right? To improve education at ICC, to help faculty, to build relationships, and to build knowledge. To Jenrin said upskill. I like that. So that's what I do at ICC. We upskill faculty, and we help them use Creative Commons licenses in their own work, in student work, right? We help. I don't want to go on too much of a tangent, but that's what I do. That's kind of my story. I'm very passionate about the work. I love Creative Commons and I love students. So last spring, I took the Creative Commons certificate course, and it was something it's been on my radar for a very long time. So my OER work at ICC started in 2016. I had great leadership here at the college, a really innovative faculty, and a library that was really, I think, on the cutting edge, at least in our area, of advocating and for OER and helping faculty select OER. And so I think it went into I put it in my performance evaluation, I bet in 2019 for the first time. And I saw the Creative Commons course. I think I just happened to randomly come across it in a listserv, maybe similar to how you guys came across this. And I read the documentation on the website. I looked at what the class was, and I was like, I really, really need this. I want to do this. And so it took a couple years, like all things, we had to get funding, we had to create a plan, and it had to make sense for my institution to send me through. So 2019 is when I wanted to do it. Of course, we all know what happens next, right? The shoe drops. We go through the pandemic, online learning, and all the challenges that we faced during that time. Creative Commons really became if not an answer, a tool, a really helpful tool in our toolbox to help us adapt our content, share our content, and create these quality experiences for students that would be that could be online, that could be shared, that, how do we improve a student experience in courses? Well, we make them creators. Like, we can empower students through Creative Commons. And so long story short, in 2022, it made sense, right? We got through the pandemic, we reopened our campus, and we were doing a complete reorg of our department and our entire academic services division at Illinois Central College. And I was going through the Creative Commons course, which is great. And I'm going to talk about it, I promise. And then we did a new Center for Teaching and Learning Excellence, and my library skills and my knowledge that I gained in Creative Commons, as well as my background as an instructor, really just was like a natural fit. It was like, okay, Jessica is going to be that Creative Commons person, and so that's what I do now, and I love it. So let me tell you about the course. I did the 10-week online. I felt like it was a really great experience. My college did sponsor me, and really the expertise and knowledge that I gained throughout the Creative Commons course and have been able to bring back to the college has been well worth the investment. It makes the investment seem rather small. A small cost, small price to pay for the knowledge and the work that we've been able to do. So the course was really well designed. I was really impressed with the materials and the way that the overall design just really helped you kind of go at your own, to go at the pace that you needed to go in, right? So there was some flexibility. They were really clear about the amount of work that was expected, and they would tell you, okay, like, start your final project at the beginning, because they scaffolded the assignments, and it was a great experience. I thought that it was informational and transformational. So not only did I as a professional learn about Creative Commons Commons. I'll admit, during the course was the first time that I actually put a Creative Commons license on my own work, which was so empowering and really a moment of transformation for me. Like I was like, I can do this. And I felt like not only did I have the knowledge, but now I have the community behind me. I have just spent 10 weeks in this class where I've learned from my instructor, but also my fellow practitioners, and I gained knowledge in that way, which I thought was excellent. My instructor was supportive and knowledgeable. What I particularly liked about the assignment feedback is he recorded like an audio feedback, so I wasn't just reading comments, but I got to hear his voice, and I really especially liked his insight. So in my own work, I had a little work to do with my accessibility. So I was designing what I think are these beautiful things, these artifacts. And he was just really patient and really kind, and kept saying like, okay, but did you run it through the accessibility checker? And then that was transformational for me, right? It took something that sounds scary and like this big topic that I may or may not know a whole lot about. And it gave me the chance to use it, and just like I said, just felt really, really good. Um, and the courses, I think the biggest takeaway was really that connection to the Creative Commons community. I have been able, like when I do presentations at ICC, I love to say that I'm a certified Creative Commons educator. It's always a proud moment for me, and it really goes a long way with faculty. I think one of our biggest challenges in the educational landscape of today is uncertainty, right? Like everything is changing. It's hard to keep up, and the faculty really feel that. So if you have a person on campus that you can identify as like, I don't have all the answers, but I will work with you and support you through this journey together. And at the end, we're going to have something really cool, and we'll have done it in the right way, and we can be really confident about it. That goes a long way with faculty. So that's been really impactful. So I mentioned that I joined the CTLE in August. Today, at this very day, I'm proud to announce we opened our first, it's called Open Teaching, Open Educational Practices course at ICC for faculty. It's an 8-week course that, my team designed, but that I really drove the course design, finding content. We used some of the Creative Commons content. We remixed it a little bit, and I was able to take things that I built in the course, and now I'm teaching with it for our faculty. So so it's been awesome. And so that happened today. It's the first day of our OEP course, which is what we call it here. And so I'm just really proud of that work, and I feel like I'm making an impact because I'm spreading the knowledge, right? So building that capacity among the folks just right here in my community, and doing it in a way that I know I'm going to be able to see the benefits, right? I can see the students walk down the hall or interact with them in their online course, and not only are they accessing materials that are equitable and high quality, and I'm empowering my faculty to share their expertise and create some really exciting educational opportunities for their students. And then I get to work with the students as they create and add Creative Commons licenses to their work, which is just like, it's cool. It's awesome. It's what I love. So that is my experience. I'm happy to take questions. So I'll be quiet and take questions. So I'm looking. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Oops.
are you gonna go ahead,
Yeah,
Jenny? If
no,
you want to
I'll
moderate the
try to
questions?
facilitate, but yeah, anything.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Jessica. I'm interested. I actually have it. I don't know how many schools are out there where faculty actually can take a course in
Yeah.
OEP, but I'm definitely going to be following up with you about this
Awesome. Yeah,
because it's pretty exciting.
please do.
Um,
I don't know if it's, I don't know how common it is, but we have we had a really great group of early adopters
yeah,
around OER for the past, 5 years or so, 7 years or so. And so now our goal is to move beyond that early adopter and to we're right at that 10% threshold where if we can move forward, I think we can really make a big push on campus. And so we've had great support from our academic leadership, from our dean, from my manager at the Center for Teaching and Learning Excellence. So we're really excited, and we have pretty good faculty attendance for OEP.
that's
There's
awesome.
lots of interest, so it's great.
Well, congratulations. So the first question we have is about Creative Commons certificate courses in general, not specific to your presentation, Jessica,
Sure.
but I imagine we'll be getting some of those. So the question is, do Creative Commons certificate courses incorporate screen reader accessibility tools? Example, browse aloud, etc.
So that's a great question. Yeah, and Dr. Esther, I would love to follow up with you after this and get a little bit more about what might be additionally helpful. But I can mention a few things that we have in place for accessibility right now, more broadly. So we try to make sure all of our images are, include alt text. We have revised our title headings and so on so that they're screen reader compatible. We also have an audio only recording of all of the reading content. But this is kind of like a goal that we will never fully accomplish, making sure that accessibility works for everyone. So I would genuinely love to be in touch if you have recommendations for improving our accessibility. I already know, for example, that some of the course content that we have to draw from currently is not good for visually impaired people. I mean, I think it's done in green and black. So it is something that we're always aware of. We have a long way to go, but we actively make strides towards making our work more accessible.
That's great. Let's see. Also, is it also embeddable in learning management system course shells?
So we work with Canvas, and I expect you would be able to draw from the Canvas course shell. I'm not actually sure how migrating Canvas materials to a different learning management system would work, or if that is possible. I know it can be challenging to download content off of Canvas, but ideally, if you're already working in Canvas, then it should be pretty easy.
I would just jump into, and if you I might have an answer to that. So when I've used it in my Canvas courses, when I'm teaching with Creative Commons material, or even just from the website, if you you can link like an external URL, and then if you don't have it open to a new tab, it kind of fills out in the Canvas reader, so it looks like you can put it in a module, and it looks almost like you can interact with that web page right from Canvas, so your students are not taken out into the browser. So that might be a
Oh, I think you're muted.
Sorry, yeah, I am. Was there, so I found that the Creative Commons coursework, or the teaching materials, really seamlessly integrates with Canvas, and I would imagine other learning management systems too. Was there another question? I was putting some links in the chat. I just give you some example of the work that I produced throughout the course, and I don't know. I mean, I humbly submit to you the work that I created during the course. I will say that I did work on it outside of work hours. So there were a lot of Saturday mornings. I have a 2-year-old, so there was a lot of like nap time. I'm going to go work on my Creative Commons stuff. So, there was, it was outside. I did take it home with me. I'll say that. And I did need those extra hours during the weekends to get some of that work done. And if I'm remembering correctly, it was like each unit is 2 weeks, and then the final assignment is due that second week. So within the class schedule, you get enough time to plan around your own life. So I found that very helpful.
Thanks for that. And yeah, I would say the first unit's 1 week, but the rest of the units are 2 weeks long. And full empathy for taking a course with a 2-year-old in the background. That is, that's a lot. Oh, Jenny, I think you might be muted. Jenny, I think you were muted, but I can.
I'm sorry. Can you share a little bit more about what the final assignment in the course would look like?
Okay. I'd be happy to. So in my course, there were options. So again, like I said, really good quality course design. So students had the choice of what they wanted to submit. And I went through the Creative Commons certificate course for librarians. So this may be different in the GLAM courses or the instructor courses. We could, and I might get the specifics fuzzy, but I chose to evaluate other resources, to go out and find resources. And then there was a kind of a template, and I put all of my resources in a template and wrote kind of annotations for them. It's been a year, but I'm pretty sure that was my final assignment. But I remember very clearly that there were options, and you could pick the option that fit your work the best. And at the time, I was already thinking, like, how can I share? Like, I was thinking I wanted to at least design a course. I have this dream of doing a badge. And so the idea of an assignment where I could go out and collect resources, that was really appealing to me. Like, I knew that would be valuable to me in my work, and it would be well worth my time. And so that's what I did. Jen Rin, do you know yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I actually, while you were talking, I was just pulling up the list of final projects that I'm happy to share with folks. So basically, the final project is ideally a way for you to demonstrate your knowledge that kind of culminates over the course of your certificate, but then also generate something that's really meaningful to you and your learning community. So we ideally want to give you kind of like a springboard for your project work or your next action or your community engagement that will best apply the open licensing knowledge in that way. So let me just see if I can screen share for a second in case this is useful. So here's a look. We tend to point people towards designing their own project. We have some additional edits that I will accept or reject from community members in here. But then we also offer different project ideas if people cannot come up with their own DIY project proposal. So we say, hey, do you want to draft a conference proposal so that you can attend, say, Open Ed 23, for example? Or do you want to annotate some additional resource sections with resources that are more relevant to your own community? Do you want to develop a case study to and this is generally for our non-North American audiences, to highlight some of the differences between your copyright and CC contexts and the certificate materials? Or do you want to write an essay? So we offer a number of different examples if people do not have an idea for what would really fuel their own work and their community outside of, if they don't have an idea already. And some of the final assignments have just been amazing. I mean, we've had really creative assignments overall, but some of the final assignments, could be creating a new Canvas course that integrates with LibreText, or we've had, and some of these might be assignments, but we've had a claymation video, we've had like a puppeting, kind of like a puppet video. We've had, H5P learning files created. So many different really interesting ways that people have taken some of the assignment prompts and final project prompts. So that was a great question.
Do we have any other questions today? Well, I know I've received a lot of questions this week, just where people were confused about, who can do this, who can access it, et cetera. So I'll just try to remind folks, not everyone is familiar with Midwestern Higher Education Compact or the 4 regional compacts in the nation that deal with higher education, but we all come together to take advantage of each other's work and build upon each other's work. And so if you are in one of the states represented by a compact, you can take advantage of this contract. There are only 3 states that are not part of the regional compact system. That is New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. And we are always sad when we can't do things for our colleagues there, but we try to collaborate with them as much as we can. but this contract is open to all of you there. If you are in one of those states and you work in higher ed, you are able to access our services. So please take a few minutes and take a look at everything and let me know if there's anything else we can do for you.
And I might just add, if you happen to be from one of those 3 states that is not part of a regional compact, don't worry, we still offer institutional discounts for anybody that has an institutional cohort that they want to run through the certificate course. So if you have a cohort of 25 people or more, you would be eligible for, I think, a 5% discount. I'm going to have to double check this on the, the website, but 50 or more, and you would get a 10% discount, or 75 or more, and you'd get that 15% discount that MEC also offers. And we also offer scholarships to folks. Currently, we only have funding for scholarships for our open culture certificate. So the certificate for GLAM, or galleries, libraries, archives, and museums. But we are actively working towards bringing additional scholarships to educators and academic librarians in the future.
That's great. Thank you. And I'll note that Mary, my colleague at MEC, did put another link in the chat that might be helpful for some folks to get some additional information. Well, if we don't have any other questions, it means you ladies did a good job. People understand, which is great. So good for you to be here. And I'm just so excited, as always, about the work at Creative Commons, and in particular what you're doing in Central Illinois, because Jessica, because it's always inspirational to see someone just taking off with this stuff and making great things happen. So,
well, thank you. We have a great team here at ICC, so they're with me in spirit, I know. So
that's awesome. All right. Well, if that's all we've got, I think we'll say goodbye. This will be recorded. It'll be on our website, and you'll also receive an email with our an assessment. It's quick. Just let us know how we're doing, and it'll also be the way we communicate with you about recordings and additional opportunities. So thank you all so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yep. Thanks. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.